Okay, so we're here. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Decentral Salon Talks. I'm Freddie. That's
Hi
Cam.
all.
And
Okay.
these are wonderful members of the Decentral community. We're just going to say
Not.
thank you. Hey, guys, just give us 1 second. I was going to talk about our sponsor, and that's Quadca CX. It looks like today's trading's high was around 294, low around 288. We're presently trading around 288, it looks like, and volume around 272 Bitcoins in total. A quick word about the Digital Finance Institute's conference in June 3rd. It's going to be at the Vancouver Club, which is a very, very fine venue, and just around the corner downtown here. It should be very interesting. Christine Duhame is the lady behind that from the Digital Finance Institute and Digital Finance Institute and Duhame Law. Also, if I may, I would just like to say to a few people, Simon Starsky-Skowitz, thanks, bro, for the computer and the airport. That was really, really nice of you. Scott, you know who, from Free Geek, thank you so much for being so generous this week. Trent and Jay, once again, thank you for everything you guys have done for us. Kiko and Greg, thanks for the pop machine work you did, and Kiko for the lights. It's really, really great. Long overdue thank you to Jennifer Panton for these beautiful chairs and the area rug and all the other things that she's given us over the last year and a bit. And also special thanks to the Awesome Shit Club for the $1,100 that put that sidewalk light in. And I guess Eleanor wants me to tell everybody that she had kittens today. Woo. Yeah. So there we go. We got 2 kittens in the back. All right, guys, you're up. These are our 2 friends from BitSim. If you 2 gentlemen want to introduce yourselves to everybody, we're here and we're here listening to you right now.
Hi, I'm LG. I'm the co-founder of BitSim, and this is Frank Falco.
Hi, everyone.
Frank's going to be our CIO and COO. So we've been going for officially since August last year, but we got seed funded from Seedcoin in January 2014, and it took a while for them to rationalize and do a few things to pull their coins off the Panama site. And as you know, the sort of Panama site sort of changed, and now I think it's probably no longer around. But we got seed funded from Seedcoin, 200 Bitcoins to establish BitSim, and then we've had a follow-on activity from a new mob in the UK called Coincilium. And Coincilium are a group of investors and like-minded friends of Startup Eddie. And Frank met them in Singapore in January this year. Yeah. So who wants to know a quick overview about BitSim, what we do?
Yeah, we all do. We're very interested in this, actually. It's very, very, very interesting. I'm just going to put your website up here for everybody to see out there in TV land. All right, present to everyone. Yeah, so let's hear about BitSim, please.
Good. Well, you can see my talking head there. Thanks to Chris Blog Zombie for doing that. We basically put Bitcoins on a SIM card. That was the whole value proposition of the company a year and a half ago. Just like Bitcoin industry is growing up, so is BitSim, and we're now doing blockchain assets and identity as well on a SIM card. So we're doing this by converging the concepts of virtual SIM onto a platform that's extensible as an overlay hardware SIM on your existing SIM. And this is technology that was developed 15 years ago. The pedigree that we have with our group of developers is quite interesting because we developed US Navy Cash, and that was an e-purse system for the US Navy to replace all cash and coin on Navy ships. And by the combination of this together, we were doing person-to-person mobile commerce over encrypted SMS in 2000. In 2000. So we had the first quad-band phone. We were uploading Navy Cash smart card commands through the SMS and sending greenbacks person to person. So this is all pre-crypto money. It was sort of around the time of David Shum's scenario for crypto money, and we're doing this with a closed system. The learning curve that we've been through, the journey, is that Bitcoin allows us to do this without a sovereign government, without a bank license, and we're able to issue crypto money that is wrapped up in the blockchain, or we can deliver and work with altcoins as well. So that's really the summary of the company and what we're going to do. The low-hanging fruit is really to make this happen for the unbanked and to make it work on feature phones. While the technology can work on smartphones, the real sweet spot for the deployment will be on feature phones. So your Nokia J2ME phones that are out in the billions in Africa, India, parts of China.
Cool. So did you know this was possible like right away? Was there like an aha moment, or because I don't think a lot of people would even think of putting a wallet on a SIM card.
Well, having been involved in the smart card industry, as soon as you start talking about a wallet and electronic money, I thought, okay, can I use what I did previously and put it on the SIM? And so the verification was really, how can we do the elliptic curve on a SIM? Because standard SIM cards don't do digital ECC. We were running up a new elliptic curve for our Navy Cash project, and so I was able to quickly vet and find hardware that would do this out of the smart card chips that are available. So we basically got it in a lab and from a sheet point of view, and now we're basically making work on hardware in our hands. The capability to really put any wallet on a SIM was really postulated in 2000 with something called the Common Electronic Purse. So there was to be an industry harmonization of electronic purses in 2000. That was called the Common Electronic Purse Scheme, and that was supposed to make an EMV purse, which is a banking standard that Europay, MasterCard, and Visa have really been working on for well over 15 years ago. And that was supposed to make an industry common purse. You could put applications on, and they would all use the same purse and wallet scheme. The challenge, gentlemen, is that the industry, like a common purse, all want to have that purse in the hands, their purse in the hands of a customer. So they don't want to have a common purse. And so Bitcoin becomes that common purse now.
Oh, interesting. Somebody farted. Holy shit, somebody farted. Severely, dude. Whoa. I don't know. So anyway, do we have any, if you're looking for family viewing, this is not the place. So, do we have any questions for these guys? Do you guys want to give us the rudiments of the technology? Okay, go ahead.
I'm a little bit late, so hopefully
it's okay, say it loud, say it proud.
What's the source of randomness when you generate a key on the card?
What's the source of randomness when you generate a key on the card?
So the smart card generates its own RAND, so it has its own random number generator on the key on the card. So in the smart card core, it's like a system on a chip, and there's a RAND function there. So we trust the random number generator of the hardware manufacturer of our chips.
And who would that be?
Well, there's a number of them, but one of them is NXP. So they make the chips that go into all those bank cards, and the FIPS cards, or what's called the PIV cards used for border control.
Huh. Interesting.
And is there any provisions for or plans to kind of publicly show that source of randomness is acceptable?
Did you guys hear that question?
Yeah, I heard the question about some sort of audit, security audit, to prove that is, I guess, verifiable as random. So we would make available under what I would call a guarded review a way to make that happen. NXP won't allow us to publish source code of their core functions. It's a long it works alongside Visa's global platform, which is their Java stack for delivering multiple applications on a SIM card or on a smart card. So there's certain functions which would be open source, our APIs to that, but right on the chip, we would have to have a security audit by an independent firm to prove the randomness and to give confidence to the community that there's no gaming or agency oversight inside.
Interesting. Interesting. Do you guys have one? Do you guys have like one with you right now that you could just like give us a quick little like visual like in your hands of you know what I'm saying?
If you go to the video that was linked on our website, that gives you a close-up view of what we've got. So yeah. That's the best way to do it.
Okay, so anybody that wants to see that, you just go to the website and take a boo, and you'll see it there. Okay, cool. So, gentlemen, what are your backgrounds? Are you scientists? Are you ex-military men? Or you seem to have a lot of connections in the security field? So.
Yeah, background is I'm Canadian. Grew up near Toronto.
Right.
Grew up on a farm. University of Waterloo, systems design engineering, so math computing department and engineering there. So I'm basically grew up liking this sort of math geekdom. So I was involved with a lot of embedded electronics in systems design. I came to Australia with a backpack and fell in love with the place. And I was headhunted into the Department of Defense, or what's called DSTO here. I worked with early stage Wi-Fi, which was troop radio comms, and I was involved with a number of industry communication systems. So I've been involved with embedded systems, and I followed the internet when it was called open systems from defense right into industry. So when I came out of defense, I helped people bring their networks, their Novell networks, their Microsoft networks, and other sort of networks that were a mess into internet connectivity using open systems. And so now it's just the internet, but you know, when you talked about a TCP/IP stack, people didn't know what that was. And you needed to really buy a third-party vendor's stack to install that on your system, and we were doing that sort of systems integration. Frank and I did the first bank website for a local bank here in Australia, and I ran the DMZ, and Frank did some of the integration. So that's how I met Frank.
Yeah, so my background's predominantly software. Started off as a software engineer back in the 80s, and have gone through various cycles through banks. Worked on the submarine project here in Australia. Also worked for several banks, and also was the CIO and ran the technology group for rather large ISP here in Australia. So I've got sort of a broad background in both software engineering, architecture, infrastructure, and running 24/7 operations. That if anything happens, people get very upset when they lose their internet connectivity. So my job was to make sure it didn't. Well, run the team that made sure it didn't, which was a rather substantial team, but that company's been acquired now, so not involved anymore. So yeah, so I've got more of a software infrastructure background as opposed to Leon, who's got more of an embedded system. So you know, complementary.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. Well done, gentlemen. Any questions from the Peter? You got a question?
You mentioned that your BitSim card can transmit often Bitcoin and other digital assets. What sort of assets do you allow in the system?
What other assets do you allow?
So you're talking about just assets and contracts? I didn't hear the whole question.
Peter?
Well, you mentioned earlier that your BitSim card is able to operate both Bitcoin and digital identities and digital assets. So I'm wondering, could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, thank you. We were working with counterparty assets in the first place because the counterparty team had the tool chain to build something reasonable. We built a sample sort of way that we could deal with a financial asset. called a carbon credit, and a carbon credit sort of sits on the boundary of what is a financial synthetic that you need a financial services license for, or it's actually a corporate balance sheet good that people want to buy and sell and trade. So globally, carbon credits are a financial product that we could start to deal with wrapping up in the blockchain. And we chose that so we did not need to have a banking license or a particular financial services license. We wrapped that up with a counterparty wrapper, and we did that for a customer. That customer is a referral marketing company, and they sell carbon credits, or in fact a form of carbon credits called a conservation credit, and they sell that person to person, and it's primarily a social good token. So we're not really trying to trade carbon credits as a form of carbon abatement. We're just trying to promote a type of social good, and this social good basically is for rainforest conservation. So that was using counterparty. We saved this company probably in the tune of this year $1 million or $2 million in bad currency rates and Western Union transactions, because we allow them to do direct digital delivery of conservation credits to the customer.
Did you say $1 billion?
Million.
A million.
Million. Okay, sorry. That's you just
one or two million.
We saved them a
million is good. Million is good. Yeah. Looking forward to the million, man. The million's good. Okay, because that's believable. Okay, sorry. Carry on.
So then we also picked up the tool chain from Mastercoin, now called Omni, and we're dealing with wrapping up US dollars in the Omni layer and working with the lead group called Tether. So if you go to tether.to, we're working with Craig Sellers, and we'll it's tether.io. I've been corrected. So I think their Twitter handle is tether_to. The reason they couldn't get tether.com, but the Tethers, which is sort of a US dollar wrapped up in the blockchain, or you could call it a Brock chain, because Brock is invested in this company. So he and Craig have really made this happen. So we're really using.
Have you guys been to BitUSD?
Try Tether. Try tether.to.
Oh, okay.
Might be. Sorry, that might be.
All good. It's all good, guys.
That's okay.
See what we got here. If this is going to take us close. Is that better? Yeah, that's better, right?
My bad. Sorry.
So Tethers are basically wrapping up working with Bitfinex. We've been working with Bitfinex in Hong Kong. We're a Hong Kong company. Tether's a Hong Kong company. So our relationships are all under Hong Kong law, which will allow us to basically move to somewhere to a reasonable sort of business contractual relationship when all the technology plumbing is working. If we try to have contractual services arrangements cross jurisdiction, a lot more lawyers and a lot more complexity would be involved. So the really good fit is that Tether helps us deal with US dollars, and Hong Kong, US dollars are pegged to a Hong Kong dollar, so we can basically make this work as part of our payment corridor plan for BitSim. So Tethers will be part of our mobile remittance go-to-market plan.
Very, very interesting.
Did you look into BitUSD at all from BitShares?
We've chatted only minimally to the shares guys. They're very bright technologists. The BitShares way of doing things looks very credible. We only have the engineering reach to pick sort of one or two asset types right now. So those are the first two that we picked. But we could definitely work with BitShares, no problem. And we are also working with some of the guys running the color coin schemes. So the early introductions to Flavion, who had the first sort of solution stack for color coins, but we had a recent call with Kudu as well, out of Israel.
Huh.
How about Ripple?
What about Ripple?
Again, discussions, but no working kit with Ripple. But the theory should be we can allow Ripples or Stellars on the SIM as well. So we'd love to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a scalability issue from our point of view. We're building it obviously so that we can handle pretty much anything we want, but it's a matter of priority and focus, and it depends on where we are in the negotiation discussions with various parties. But we're talking to lots and lots of people at the moment, as you can imagine, but can only do so many things at a time at the moment.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Do you guys have a working prototype happening already? Are you guys already selling in the marketplace?
So the status of the technology is we have a lab prototype. Right now, because it involves FlexTrack and basically inserting that FlexTrack into a phone and running a test harness both on the phone and a serial port sniffer in the lab, we're really not doing this as a sort of roadshow demo. All of that will be put into a package for roadshow demo in the next 2 months, and then we'll be able to target our chips for production. So I made a comment in a Reddit forum, and it sort of went viral a couple of weeks ago. The shipping date is about 4 or 5 months for our first BitSims, and that will be with this mobile remittance capability. We'd like to have the tether solution coming out of the can, and then have an ecosystem for developers where we'll have a starter kit, a number of samples in a way that they could make an applet that would work on our sort of SIM app store.
Interesting. And what's your price point per unit looking like, gentlemen? Do you have an idea yet?
Yeah, it'll be around the $10 mark to begin with. Our target is sub $5, almost $2. That's what it should be.
That's so good.
That's definitely
because like we have a Slack channel here, and somebody was like talking about this new hardware wallet. Who was that? You?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, the $200 hardware wallet.
Yeah, at the time.
I'm just like, who wants to spend $200 on a wallet? You know what I mean? When nobody even wants to pay $2 to buy Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? And this is a really really good product, gentlemen. I mean, the price point's good. The only thing I can see is it's so effing small. You know when you go traveling and you take out your SIM card and stick another card in, and then you're like, oh, where's my card when I get home? That's the only thing I can see as being an issue. Have you guys thought about that, or do you have anything for us people?
You're not going to need to do that. That's the point.
So you're not going to need to do that. So when you're traveling, we have a virtual SIM stack, and so when you land in Hong Kong, we will provision you with a just-in-time Hong Kong number. So the whole provisioning plan for what we're doing is a mobility play, and this is why the jaws are dropping on the floor. It's a very disruptive platform.
Guys, it'll sit in your phone all the time. You don't need to swap it out.
Okay, my next question to you is, are you guys self-financed? Have you received the seed funding? Are you going to go and do a round soon? Where are you guys at with your financing?
So we brought in some advisors for capital markets. We're still negotiating with some people that are basically what we call introduction agents or merchant bankers. They're all very excited about this. So in Australia, there's been one listing that did well, Xenia with Digital CC. He had a mining company and he listed that on the ASX. The brokers are all very excited about this, but Australia is really 2% of the world, and we want to make this a global platform. So what we're trying to do is to do a roadshow early summer, and then during the summer we will set the target for our Series A. We'd like to have the Series A closed by Q4, but start of Q3 will be our roadshow.
Yeah, so we've already, as we said earlier, we've already had some seed funding to get us going. But yeah, as Leon says, we're aiming for Series A later in the year.
All right, very good. That's really cool. Anybody got any questions? Any questions, guys?
Do you have a patent on the hardware?
I was going to ask that too. Patent, as they say in Australia.
Yes, there is a patent on the hardware, so we've arranged an exclusive license to that for the cryptocurrency industry, and that's a patent that is owned by a company that's domiciled in Seattle, very close to Vancouver. and
Yeah.
we will be setting up our first, off point or offshoot from Hong Kong. Will probably be Vancouver as our port of call, being Canadian.
Nice.
Vancouver.
That's very cool.
Also, our partners are very close across the border to Seattle, so that all makes sense. And you can even do a day trip to the valley if we needed to out of Vancouver. So we're very comfortable with doing that out of Vancouver. Snow, but we'll probably be there for summertime. So mountain biking and on Whistler.
Yeah, so Leon and I will be there later in the year.
Yeah.
So, sorry, when are we going to see you in person? Next year or this year?
No, this year.
This year.
June, July.
Yeah, June, July.
Yeah, dude.
Oh.
This is great.
It's happening.
This is great. I'm really happy to hear that. That's really.
Well, Leon, I sort of know you online through Delton Chen, and
Yeah.
and Delton is, I think he may be coming here, so I don't know if maybe it could be serendipitous.
Serendipitous.
No,
Synergy.
Yeah, I flew Delton down from his home near Byron Bay, and we really had a good working day riffing on about how we would wrap up sustainability assets into the blockchain. He has an economic model for rewarding people for green behavior and stopping pollution. It's a big ass plan that Delton has, and I'd like to help him try and achieve that in a piecewise fashion. So we're partners to what's called global4c.org, and if you bring that up as well for everyone, you'll see that BitSim is noted there. Because we did this currency for U.S. Navy, that closed system has been working for 15 years now. There's well over $5 billion at float in the U.S. Navy cash scheme, and Chase Manhattan has stopped reporting how much money they're making on it. The learning of trying to do this in a blockchain sort of asset pool and a currency that's already a financial asset traded around the world is really where the carbon markets are. So these solutions for carbon trading and for gamification of carbon assets is all part of that. So if you go to global4c.org.
Oh, okay, we didn't do that, did we?
Well, this is the MIT competition.
Oh.
Yeah, they won. They had an honorable mention, or I think they won for innovation there at the MIT lab.
4C.
Global4c.org.
.org. Gotcha. Thank you so much. Let's see if I got it.
I'm trying to get Delton in here right now, actually.
Whoa. It's a
Delton's in Mexico.
It's a wordy.
So.
It's a wordy web page.
Yeah, it's very wordy.
Yeah, it is. Holy, is it ever wordy?
Climate change policy. It's pretty,
yeah, dude.
pretty dense.
Yeah, there's a lot of thinking there, so you have to really dive into it.
Wait till you start reading the documents. Wow.
Kidding.
Oh, I saw BitSim there.
You saw what?
There we go.
Oh, there's BitSim.
Yeah.
Aww. Yeah, Delton's visited us once or twice, hasn't he?
No, he might be though.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, great. Okay, well, Delton, shout out to Delton from BitSim and any other questions for our gentlemen, guys?
I got one, and obviously this is one you might not be able to say, but how much did you guys raise in your seed round?
Oh, your seed round, guys. Can you talk about that?
It's okay.
The seed round is still growing, so it's not closed yet. So when it's all closed and the money's all in, because it's on a linkage to a capital market event happening in the UK. When it's all closed, we'll do that announcement. So we don't want to fire our bullet too soon, and I don't want to jinx the sort of merchant bankers from saying it didn't close.
Yeah.
But we're getting support from Bitcoin enthusiasts. We're still accepting investment on a scheduled basis. And it's going quite well. So we're quite pleased with the traction we've got. The company's valued at about $3 million now, post money that's coming in, and the Series A will be at around a valuation of 12 to 15 million. So we're scheduling a very tame valuation to get traction, but then we want to come out of the gate very strong.
Cool. And if we wanted to send Bitcoin to you because we believe in your product, where do we send that, and how do we get that done? What's the process?
So we do actually have a crowdsourced token that will be a pre-order for BitSim, so that will be coming up. So if you wanted to have a BitSim in a travel sim format, most Bitcoiners that are enthusiastic about this product say that they want this travel sim where you can basically have any number in the world that you want plus Bitcoins as a pivot currency. So there will be a crowd campaign. For investment, we are scheduling convertible notes, but there's a sort of minimum value proposition there to make sure that we can pay for the lawyers along the way. So basically, we're looking at a mechanism back and forth to accept that. So if you are interested in investing, then reach out to me personally, and I will hook you up with our directors and our advisors. Else, if you're enthusiastic as a developer, wait for our crowd sale, and we'll have a developer starter kit as well as part of our crowd sale campaign. So there'll be a sort of user token as a BitSim sort of pre-order. There'll be a developer kit, much like a Kickstarter, and we will have an active tag, so you can tag your cat and make sure she's not too far away.
I don't know why she's with us. She's got some kittens over there she should be hanging out with, but she's a party animal, So
the BitSim chip will be able to be put into a number of wearables in different formats like that as well. So there's a number of things that we're trying to activate.
Nice. Go ahead, Ren.
Do you think sometime in the future we can buy shares in your company directly using Bitcoin?
You can buy shares right now using Bitcoin. They're converted into US dollars on a Hong Kong spot rate, and we're taking a price peg on either CoinDesk or WinkDesk, but I think it's CoinDesk now that we're using as our spot price for the conversion. So we have accepted money from Bitcoin deposits, but it has to be really put in as a US dollar share entry. So that's what we're doing.
Okay, well, he's going to extend that question.
I'm extending that question to the obvious.
Oh.
When can I buy shares in your company using Bitcoin and instantly receive a private key representing shares in your company instead of converting to US dollars or anything like that? I know that's a big question, but when do you think that would be possible? Because it seems like out of anybody on the planet, you guys would know when that might become possible.
So our advisors would like us to be able to do that. I'm jumping through the legal hoops to allow us to issue equity as a crypto token. I've tracked very, very passionately what Swarm did, but we're not ready to release equity as a token yet. That's why we're really doing pre-orders and pre-sales, and we're doing this social good token. We're right at the boundary layer, gentlemen, of what we can do legally, and I want to represent everything quite ethically that way, and I don't want to get into a problem like Ripple Labs did with a $700K penalty for doing something where there was good intentions.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
I really think FinCEN's trying to rewrite history by saying that they were on top of this, and everyone should have known what Bitcoin was when it was first created. So, we're very careful as far as what jurisdiction we will be trading BitSim activities and tokens in, and we're not very strong to release our tokens to the U.S. market at all right now.
I don't blame you. There's a whole other planet out there that needs a lot more help than the Americans do, although they need a lot of help with their own kind, I guess. Go ahead.
Yeah, the hardware side of things, is it just going to be a full-size SIM card, or are you guys going to be like on the micro and nano scale too?
No, we're going to be doing...
Well, we're going to be doing nano SIM and a SIM tray. So you have a SIM injector?
Yeah, the tray.
Okay.
Or
you mean a tray?
a tray?
Yeah.
No, a tray. Like a pin?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Bobby pin? Yeah. So we do a sample as a nano SIM, and we're going to put the smart card chip in the SIM tray itself. So if I pull my phone out.
Oh, you have one in there already?
Yeah, in my iPhone 6 we have one already, and we're just doing some testing. So
that's great. This is exciting.
So it is a small fiddly thing. So where are we here?
Wow. Yeah, the resolution isn't that great, but it's good. That's really Down, yeah, look at that, guys. That's crazy. Yeah.
So,
And nice manicure.
so instead of fiddling around with SIM stickers on nano SIM formats, because my big mates won't work with this, and big mates as well, we're going to have an OEM SIM tray. Take out the Apple SIM tray and put our BitSim tray in, and then it will all just work. Done. And there's a companion app on the smartphone or your Android phone as well. So the app is actually a Java card app on our BitSim.
Apple's not gonna like that.
Well, he's got it in an Apple phone right
I know,
now.
but like, they're not gonna like the idea of, I guess, Bitcoin going in on the hardware side of things. Maybe they'll.
So we straddle the iTunes store, we straddle the Google Play store. The app is actually domiciled on the SIM, and we don't need to have permission from Apple or Google Android phone vendors to insert this. It's a user accessible port.
Yeah, but there's a problem with that because Apple's trying to get rid of the SIM card entirely and make virtual SIM. So, what's the outcome of this then?
So just like Google, Apple will be an MVNO. Apple will be the first global carrier. They've got the DOS to do it. Every iPhone 6 has a SIM, what's called a security element in the phone, and that security element can be provisioned to be a SIM card. So Apple has the hardware now to actually become a global carrier in every new iPhone. So it is going to happen. We're just going to make it happen as an independent SIM vendor rather than as an OEM phone vendor.
Holy shit.
Powerful.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Really, really good work, guys. Like, seriously amazing. Very, very impressive.
So what
work.
does this look like for someone in the developing world who is unbanked and just has like a cell phone? Like, how does the process work for using it?
So for the networks in the developing world, we're going to set up a couple of different models in order to allow fiat back out from bitcoins received on your BitSim or tethers received on your BitSim. There's a kiosk that we have being manufactured with our China partners. They're already selling to government and banking agencies in Africa. And this is a face finger biometric, basically enrollment machine. So it is much like that case designed with a biometric and plus a finger biometric for an identity. Most people don't have bank accounts in Africa, but you can't even get through the bank door to receive money because you need to be digitally identified. So there's a couple hurdles to do that. So we have a kiosk model to allow people to receive fiat from their bitcoins received from a developing country. And then we're setting up village starter kits so people would have a 20 cell phone starter kit with a sat phone backhaul, all solar powered, and we're just going to drop this into different villages as a bootstrap for the sort of digital money economy. And that's the sort of plan for parts of Africa. We have to work with partners there, boots on the ground with people that understand Bitcoin. So this is a staged release that we're doing in those regions. So it's going to be Africa and Philippines to begin with.
So you guys have like zero ambition. I've never seen such a bunch of slackers in my life. Yeah, it's unbelievable, actually.
It's a big ass plan, but yeah, I mean.
Yeah, we're actually 25. We just look 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use that line all the time when I'm in the bars. Yeah, well, guy's gotta do what he's gotta do. So, okay, great. This is craziness. So, gentlemen, how long have you each been in the Bitcoins? When did you buy your first Bitcoin?
Good question. I bought my first Bitcoin in 2012 at $12. So that was before the first bubble. Then my wife bought the next one the following year for $77. So I was watching it. I didn't know if we would have the hardware to do this on a SIM, and in 2012 we didn't have the hardware to do elliptic curve on the special curve that Bitcoin's using. But and by 2013 we had found a vendor that could do that, and then I established the BitSim company.
Crazy.
Mine was end of last year. I'd heard of Bitcoin 2 or 3 years ago, but was sort of busy doing other things like running ISPs and things like that. Never quite got around to have a decent look at it until Leon and I caught up last year, and he told me what he was doing, and I went,
yeah,
giddy up. Let's go. Let's do that. Let's put some dents in the world, eh?
Yeah.
So we established BitSim on a virtual exchange for a virtual company, seed funded from a virtual currency for a virtual SIM. So that's what we did. And so to take a friend and someone I trust through that kind of journey, really important that the people and the advisors around us are kick-ass, really experienced guys. There's not a lot of young guns in our team. It's all very old industry players that want to take this paced approach to entering the market. Because it's so disruptive, we got to make sure that we don't burn all our capital, because there could be a very long adoption or some hurdles that we have to jump through. So we're being very careful on the projects we take and the partners that we take on, and even the money that we accept.
Yeah, right. If you guys need any help in Vancouver, we have a very, very strong startup scene here. We have a lot of support through all spheres, through legal and financial and media. These two gentlemen run a magazine. We haven't had another two ladies in earlier as well. We've got access to all sorts of press. So if you do need help with the Canadian market, especially Western Canada and Toronto, let us know, because this is
we're going to set our first footprint in North America will be in Vancouver. So that's a definite strategy. And also the law frame, Christine, who runs the law firm in Vancouver, plus her treatment and even commentary on carbon credits as a digital asset and using blockchain for that. So it's very strategic that we do this, and I think it's a very, very coherent first step, because we don't want to land in a litigious sort of area, throwing BitSims around and saying people can trade equity and cash tokens without the proper licensing. We'd like to do 1 or 2 deals in North America, and I want to cover all 51 states in those deals. So we don't have a sort of piecemeal approach. So we've been watching on the sidelines on BitLicense, and my commentary, I think you might have seen in my tweets. I don't like it at all, and we're being very careful.
Good. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Awesome. Ren?
There's 2 questions popping in my head.
2 more questions coming from Ren.
What's the Twitter name?
What's the Twitter handle?
What's your Twitter name?
Leon?
Leon _Vandenberg and BitSim.co. BitSim.co. So at BitSim.co and Leon _Vandenberg. And it's there on the website at the bottom, contact us.
Right, very good. And the second question, Ren, did you have another one?
I do, but oh yeah. This is such a good price point.
Yeah, the price point.
I don't know if you've thought about it, but you could easily do some sort of decentralized sales team all over the planet, and I'm pretty sure that would work.
So repeat that, Ren?
It's because the price point is so low. Ren is saying that that's Rennie Lee Sylvan, by the way. He's saying that he used to work with Tesla. He's saying that the price point is so low, you could probably do a decentralized sort of Salesforce sort of thing, and it'd probably do really well. Yeah. I mean, the price point is ridiculously low.
So we think that multi-level marketing distribution plan, or referral marketing, where everyone gets a little piece of the action for the first year. If you get a friend to buy BitSim and then you get a bit of a commission kicker, that sort of model will really roll out very fast. And we think that the whole hardware deployment game will be very easy. We're trying to make sure that the experience out of the box just is very simple, especially if you have an iPhone or a particular Android phone. So the whole onboarding process, making it seamless as far as identity, and what we need to do for getting your 100-point test to turn your SIM on. So I agree with you. It's a very aggressive price point. We think that it can almost be like those notorious AOL CD-ROMs where everyone has one in their drawer, and that was their first experience to the internet. We think for mass adoption, the first experience should be onboarding with a BitSim in your mobile phone.
That's very interesting. Crazy. Ren, you got another question?
Usually I don't ask this many questions.
Ren's hogging the ball tonight, but it's
This
good.
is very exciting.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
Good.
Go ahead.
Trying
Oh, he dropped the ball.
yeah, no, I dropped the ball.
He dropped the ball. Yeah, so I guess, you know, I mean, I'm pretty good. We've done a good hour with you guys. You guys are in Australia, that's right. Yeah, and what time is it there? What time is it there right now?
It's 12:30 Friday afternoon, so it's lunchtime on Friday.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's good.
Almost
That's, oh yeah, well we're around what 8 o'clock now p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good. So we didn't keep you guys up in the middle of the night. Sometimes we do that to our European friends.
No, it's fine.
Yeah,
And
cool.
That's okay. We're used to that too.
And I think there's going to be a representation for the company at Inside Bitcoins in Hong Kong. I see Eddie lurking here watching this video cast as well.
Oh.
And so Seedcoin is here, and we're helping Seedcoin with some of their roadshow activities. I think that there's going to be some more announcements, and you'll see some more press-worthy activities coming from both companies.
Awesome. And so you mentioned that you use an Apple phone. Are you guys both Apple gentlemen, or do you play with Android as well?
We've got both. I mean, my primary phone's an iPhone 6 Plus.
Yeah, but at HTC or a Samsung, you know, we still have a few of our advisors that say, I want it all working on my Android phone first. So we're trying to satisfy both parties. So
right.
we'll make it happen.
Right. And talking about sorry, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
The SIM is the lowest common denominator across all phones, right? So you can't get a SIM registered for the BSM authority unless it has a SIM slot. Apple tried to take that away, and they basically had to lobby very hard to make a nano SIM work. So that was it. Hey, Delton.
Oh, hello. Delton's in.
Hello, everybody.
I got one more question before Delton jumps in here. Is gentlemen, can you tell us who your advisors are, or is that hush-hush still?
Well, you'll see that as we go through the announcements, and a bit of a rebranding on BitSim. BitSim was a very simple name so that we could say what the product and the value proposition was. But we're more than a one-trick pony now with the convergence of blockchain assets and identity on the SIM. So the company name will pivot a bit, and BitSim will be a product and an API. So when we do that corporate announcement, along with Coincilium and Seedcoin, you'll get some of our team. But Frank will be on the team, and we have some advisors that have got some very good experience, and they'll be on as well.
That's awesome. All right, Delton, hello. How are you tonight?
Hello, everybody. I'm well. How are you guys?
Good. Yeah, we just got your friends in here from Australia, and they're a couple of Sharpies, I must say.
Yeah.
Hey, Delton.
Leon's very, very impressive, isn't he? Hello,
Yeah.
Frank. I don't think I've met Frank.
No, we haven't done a video face-to-face, just email mostly.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm in San Cristobal in southern Mexico, and this is where I've been doing my research for the past 3-4 months. And I have to say, guys, when you're talking, it's like a different language. Do you realize that?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
All these acronyms.
I know.
I'm lost.
I think people got very scared by the Global 4C website, how many words and thinking process had to be spawned from that one.
Yeah. It's a good point. A lot of words on my website, and somehow I've got to boil it down to 10 words.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy.
Yeah, you've got to take that layered approach. You know, fewer words on the front, let them drill.
Well, I don't have a lot to add tonight. I'm just calling in to listen to Leon and Frank and say hello. I don't know if I'm coming to Vancouver, but as soon as I've made a decision, I'll let you know.
Thank you, Don. And are you working on this Paris Accord and what's happening for that? And are you helping the Mexican government with their approach?
No, I'm not that high level, Leon, but I might be doing some research for that meeting actually with an American non-profit, and just a bit of pocket money. But what I've got going is just academic stuff. So a paper which is coming out in the World Economics Association conference in a week or so, and an abstract to Stanford University, an abstract for the American Economics Association in January, and a conference that's been accepted in Canberra in December. And one or two other things, but it's theoretical. And so I don't know if you guys are going to be that interested, but digital currencies are definitely in the proposal and the policy, because we would need digital currencies so everybody can trade in greenhouse mitigation currencies.
Yeah, so, gentlemen,
especially
the
mobile phones.
I guess we could do a whole different presentation on 4C.
Yeah.
Especially if you're coming to, if you do make the decision to come to Vancouver, we'd love to do a salon talk on it.
Yeah. And I just wanted to get, I guess Delton just wanted to say hello to Leon, and Leon, I'm glad you got to see Delton there, and Frank, you got to meet him. But you guys are busy. We got a good hour out of you, and we appreciate your time very, very much. Yeah, and we look forward to seeing you guys when you get here, because you're gonna love this town. It's a beautiful city, and there's a lot to be done here.
Yeah, well, I've never been and
awesome.
heard great things. Leon raves about it, so I'm really looking forward to coming.
Oh man, you're gonna love it. It is fucking beautiful here, mates. You're gonna love it, love it, love it. All right, cool. So anyway, we're gonna say good. We'll say goodnight to you guys. Everybody's give a round of applause for BitSim and for Delton. And you guys have yourself a beautiful evening, and we will see you in the next couple months.
Reach out if you need any more questions answered. Bye, guys.
All right.
Off.
Good night. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye. See you, Delton. Bye.
Good night. Next week.